Sup, my name is Ryu for TheCouncilNetwork. Welcome to Game Corner, where we run down something throughout the game outlets and basically just talk about it. And there's something that only I'm personally hyped for and the other guys are not, so they wouldn't join me for this one. So I'm just going to do this myself, just for this one video. It's Dark Souls 3. The release date was released for Japan for March 24, 2016 on the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, no PC date for them. Probably they'll just buy it on the PS4 because Japan. But in all seriousness, hopefully the American date is not that far behind because I am freaking hyped for this game, number one. Number two, the one thing I really do want to talk about with Dark Souls, besides just the announcement of the date, is basically my hype for this. And there was actually some screenshots that were shared via GameSpot. And I've played Dark Souls 2, I played Dark Souls 1, I haven't played the DLC just yet. I know I'm so fucking far behind, because I got into the games really late in their life. I just basically picked up Scholar of the First Sin. You'll see some highlights here on the Council Network soon enough. But I'm really just hyped for Dark Souls 3. I'm probably going to play it on my Xbox One. I will have a PS4 to play it on, but I'm pretty much probably going to go Xbox One. I'm a little more comfortable with the controls. So, the one thing with this game that I'm a little fearful for is that it'd be too much Bloodborne and not enough Dark Souls. And I wasn't one of the guys who got to go to the events to actually play the game. Maybe in the future. Wink, wink. But, I mean, looking at these photos, they remind me of Dark Souls 1. But very, very graphically overchanged. So I think something in... It looks like if Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Bloodborne all came together and put their best elements. Like, Demon Souls had really good lighting. And Dark Souls was this really good combat system. I really did enjoy it. It's kind of with the shield and sword and the parry and the backstab. And the monsters were just, well, the bosses were just incredible. They were lifetime bosses that just stuck with you that you wouldn't forget. And from what we've seen, I know she's called the Dancer. I don't know anything else about it. But from what we've seen, I'm excited to really see what they do with the bosses in this game. But I feel, I'm hoping the environment is played out like Dark Souls 1. And if you've never played Dark Souls, when I do play it on the Gaming Council, I'll post links out so you can see when that's actually a thing. You could pretty much go almost anywhere in Dark Souls 1 from the first 10 minutes of the game. After the tutorial boss is killed, you can pretty much go anywhere. There were 30, no, not 30, I'm overshotting. About 10 bosses you can go fight. Or you could choose not to fight and then just level yourself up and become so overpowered that you can one-shot macro bosses. What other game allows you to do that? I mean, Dark Souls is a very challenging game. It's very hard. It's going to test your patience. I mean, look at this boss here. She's got the flame sword and she's spewing fire everywhere. Fire seems to be a thing with Dark Souls 3. As with Dark Souls 2 was more a dark environment. You gotta use the torch if you play the Scholar of the First Sin in some areas. Especially where the Rotten was. I forgot exactly where that area was called, but I hated that area. Because I hate any poison areas. Like, I hate Blighttown. Maybe there's one person in this world that loves Blighttown. I hate fucking Blighttown. I don't mind Quelaag, but that was the one thing in Dark Souls that never made sense to me. It's like, Quelaag is in this poison area. And you go all the way down Blighttown, and you go to fight Quelaag. And you're like, okay, she's going to be a poison boss, like if you're doing this blind. And she's fucking fire. So you have all your poison resist, and you gotta now deal with fire. Granted, she's not the hardest boss in the world. I find the gargoyles to be a little more pain in the ass than she is, because there's 2 versus 1. But, you know, it's a thing. Now, returning things, I would hope, and these are some cool things. There's a nice dragon photo there, a dragon breathing fire. Again, a lot of that scorch earth kind of thing. I don't believe we're going to the same areas we've ever been. But see, like this image here, and hopefully I'll have it up, synced up perfectly. There's certain parts to the imagery that remind me of Bloodborne. Now, I have yet to play Bloodborne, like 100%, but I did play it with a friend. Thank you, friendo. And I was also able to watch it on YouTube because of Let's Players, and I pretty much got to understand the differences between Bloodborne and Dark Souls fairly quickly. And I mean, I would hope that some elements cross over. I'd be okay with that, but not all of them. The one thing I am hoping with Dark Souls 3, my basic, to round off this video, my basic wants are basically the weapons that we had in Dark Souls 2, like every weapon in there, because we had plenty of choices to choose weapons for. And add upon that, the Dark Souls 1, basically, environment where you can go from any area from the starting point of the game. Dark Souls 2 PvP, because it was better than Dark Souls 1, to be fair, it really was. It's a little more fair, because there's certain areas that you couldn't cheat your opponent. Just saying. I mean, there was still some funny shit, but it's just saying how it is. And I would hope that we get some kind of closure within the story, and I'm also hoping that the DLCs, when they actually come out, will be just as good as all the other Dark Souls DLCs have been. Dark Souls 2, for a lot of players, was a letdown on first release. For me, I was fairly new to Dark Souls. I was having a problem with Dark Souls 1. Couldn't, like, 100% do really much of anything. I wasn't used to it. Dark Souls 2 is a little bit easier. And because it was a little bit easier, and I did go the wrong way from, the last giant boss, and it made it harder for me, it made me grow a lot of patience for games. So I'm very, I wouldn't say attached to Dark Souls 2, but it is the first Dark Souls I did beat. And it does carry something special for me. Whether it be the turtle armor you can get that is amazingly bulk to next week. It was good for, when you can get it. I mean, it's still pretty good, but I always prefer Havel's armor. Havel is the shit for armor. But I just felt Dark Souls 2 as a game, boss-wise and everything, I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the original Dark Souls. But then I went back and I played the original Dark Souls, and I was like, this is a fucking masterpiece. Outside of a few things, this is a masterpiece. And I started seeing what people were saying about Dark Souls 2. I still love Dark Souls 2. I can't pick a favorite between them. That's not what I'm trying to do in this video. What I'm saying, though, is it's definitely something that I'm very hyped for, and I wish I can get my friends into to have that same feeling. But Mikey, Jonathan, Greg want no part of that shit. So I'll respect it. I'll play Dark Souls at the end of the day, and I'll have my other friends who play Dark Souls. I'm looking at you, Sam. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe. We'll be back with more Gaming Corner as basically we can get these videos out to you guys. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Peace.